Ready-ish?
Yeah. Yep.
We'll call the meeting to order for March 14, 2023 in North Liberty City Council. Can I have a roll call, please?
Here. Harrington.
Here.
And I'm here too. Moving on to item 3 on the agenda, which is the approval of the agenda.
Second. Or
So
Yeah.
it's okay.
should we
A
just
motion?
throw in the towel now?
Yes.
And the second?
Second.
Yep. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're moving right along. Moving on to the consent agenda. Item 4. Any questions first? Give a motion for the consent agenda
So moved.
Second.
and a second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 5, which is public comment. Is there any public wishes to comment? Seeing no public wishing to comment, we'll move to number 6, the city engineer report. You have anything for him?
I have just something real brief in my notes
Okay.
here, but
All right, we will move on to the city administrator report.
okay, thanks. Just a couple of things tonight. First, thank you all for being here and allowing us to have this meeting and conduct a little bit of business this evening. I would note, I know Kevin mentioned this last time, that the steel and the City Hall project was being erected. It's really shaping up now. If you have an opportunity to drive by it, you'll get a good idea of what kind of the shape and scope of what's being installed. So it's pretty neat. The only other thing I'd mention this evening is that at our March 28th meeting, we will have a naming policy, a facility naming policy ready for some discussion. At that meeting, we'll also have the Big O Foundation there requesting the renaming of what is now called the Babe Ruth Field to Owen Skelly Field. So that group will be here in 2 weeks as well. I plan to have the naming policy out much sooner than in the packet, so you can have some time to digest that and offer feedback. So, and with that, I'll take any questions if there are any.
Questions?
No.
Right, moving on to item 7, which is the mayor report. The mayor has left me nothing specific to report on. Moving on to item 9, council reports. Anyone have anything?
I just want to say thank you to the city of North Liberty for attending the Children's Museum Gala. I had an opportunity to attend along with Mayor Chris Hoffman and his lovely wife. So it was great to be there to celebrate play.
I think we have not had a chance to discuss the Sip and Stroll. Was very widely attended, had a ton of positive feedback from that event. And the same night, myself and Mayor attended the pizza with the politician and had some very engaging conversation with some youth from North Liberty that I was thoroughly impressed with. Great questions, 2 pages of questions that were prepared. And so was very, very exciting event for us to attend.
Yep, I will. Sip and Stroll was pretty cool. And I think kind of the interesting thing that I'm not sure we thought about exactly was the Bluebird, and I think Tin Roost got quite a bit of walk-in traffic. So maybe that's something, if we do something like that again, that we can really hit the businesses up, the other businesses in there, and maybe they can get out on their backsides and do something too. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 10, North Ridge preliminary plat. A is staff and planning commission recommendations.
Thank you. I may defer some of this to Grant, but this is 37 single-family residential lots, as well as would enhance the existing historical Altwine Cemetery. It's been over 100 years since there's been a burial out there. It's pretty neat to be up there. There is some uniqueness to the property. There's 2 drainage courses that go through the property, one on the north side that does prevent some technical challenges for development. There is I hate to call it a variance. It's a variation from the subdivision code. But normally we would not allow development on private streets for single-family residential. We did feel that due to the uniqueness of the property that a variation was warranted. But we also thought it was important to have buy-in from the adjacent Fjords North Subdivision Homeowners Association. So there was quite a bit of delay from when the project originally came forward to when the preliminary plat came to Planning Commission, which was last week. And the impetus for that was there was an agreement signed between the property owner and the Fjords North Subdivision. Grant, would you like to add anything to that?
Sure. If only to express gratitude to the applicant for going the extra mile and reaching out to work with their neighbors. The Fjords North Subdivision is accessible by Oak Lane Northeast, and the proposed subdivision would have 3 lots that would be accessible off of Oak Lane, which is maintained pursuant to some long-standing agreements between the Scanlons and the Fjords. There were various issues concerning the use of the roadway, the drainage of surface water, and any number of items that objections that were raised by the Fjords through their attorneys and through their attorney, and staff reached out to Scanlon through their attorney and suggested that what we would like to see is an agreement. We want them to get along with their neighbors and for everybody to be happy. And so they reached an agreement, an arm's length agreement that satisfies everyone's concerns. And so from drainage to street maintenance to any number of other factors. I don't know, is the agreement included in the packet here tonight?
Yes.
So it's fairly expansive. And to clarify, the staff's only requirement was make each other and get the folks happy, and we are delighted that they've done so. So, with respect to the variation from the code, that's laid out in the staff report there for you to read, and I don't have any comment with respect to staff's recommendations on that.
And there was a fair amount of background material that happened prior to, I think, the agreement coming to being executed. So a lot of those things you'll see were concerns that the Fjords North Subdivision had. And I think with the agreement being executed by both parties, I think those have been resolved. So as I mentioned, Planning Commission did consider this at last Tuesday's meeting. They did unanimously recommend approval.
Thank you. Moving to the applicant presentation.
Thank you. Members of the council, I am Bob Downer. I'm the attorney for the Scanlon family, and have worked through the process that has been outlined here. This was a long time in coming together, but I do think that it was a quality product that came about as a result of the work between the HOA and the Scanlon family. Most of the pertinent points, I think, are laid out in the extensive staff report, and I'll only mention a few things in that regard. This is nearly a 40-acre parcel that is covered by this preliminary plat, and one of its unique features is that it surrounds an old cemetery in which there have been no burials for a period of more than 100 years. The 34 of the 37 lots are accessible off of North Liberty Road. There will be a street system within the subdivision that serves those lots, and they are at a higher elevation than lots 35 through 37, which are the 3 that are accessible off Oak Lane. And There's a ridge that goes through the property that, in effect, makes this really two very different parcels. One of the provisions in the agreement between the developer and the Fjords North HOA is that there would be no access to Oak Lane from the lots at the higher elevation that do border Oak Lane. There are a number of these lots that back up to Oak Lane, but they will not be accessing that private road, so that there will only be 3 more residences connecting to that, which is roughly a 5% increase of the number of residences that will use that for access. The situation with respect to the Alt Cemetery is quite unusual, and Ken Leo, the chair of the cemetery board, is here this evening, and he may have more comments on this. But the cemetery has been accessed only by an undefined easement. There is a right across the property, but it isn't specified as to any location. One thing that I suppose speaks to the age of that agreement is that it provides for access by carriages and wagons, and that has posed some difficulty. I don't think I mentioned this to the council, but I did tell the planning commission that when a group of us went out there to access this and to see the cemetery, we had to make peace with a rather unhappy Angus bull that was being pastured in the pasture that surrounds the cemetery. And that obviously is not a condition that's conducive to people going to the cemetery to see the final resting place of their ancestors. And so the streets within the subdivision will access the cemetery. There have been arrangements made for certain improvements to the cemetery through fencing and landscaping and things of that sort. The Scanlons will work with the trustees on that. So I think there will be a public benefit that arises from that standpoint. Also, there is a very complex sewer system that will be necessary for this property, and will serve all of the lots, but also will provide future service to property that lies north of Oak Lane and will eventually go under North Liberty Road and serve the property north of the proposed elementary school site that's west of this property. So the approval of this development will provide infrastructure that will be needed for future developments in that area of North Liberty. And with those comments, I'd welcome any questions that you might have, and hopefully you'll see the positives in this development that we feel are present here.
I just had a question. So the lot that's around the cemetery, is that going to be an outlot or?
No, well, there actually there is approximately 1/2 of the cemetery property that has never been opened up for cemetery lots, and that will be used for some sort of use within the discretion of the cemetery trustees. There will be a street on the west side of it. There are some elevation changes that make that a little bit challenging, but we've provided on the plan for how there would be access to that for visitors to the cemetery and also for equipment to maintain it. There are no lots on the east side of it, because there the property drops off. There's a street on the west side. There is a lot that will border it on the north, but on the south is the area of the cemetery that's never been opened up, and so that will provide a buffer there.
So just north of the other side, the River Birch Lane, you'd be able to get one more house above this north of the cemetery? Or is that just going to be all open?
The
This land right there.
Where at?
Just here. What is that?
Oh, yeah, that you're saying that is what surrounds the cemetery to
Yep.
the north and east would be cemetery land, right? Am I looking at that right, Russ?
I don't have a copy of that
Yeah.
plat.
That would be a lot.
Yeah, the cemetery is just out lot C,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
and to
What's
the
it- what's
east of that, you didn't give me a touch screen.
What?
I just can't.
touch
It
this.
gets blurry.
You can touch it, it just
What's,
doesn't do much.
what is this here?
That's a lot.
A buildable lot?
It's technically speaking, but the topography is such. It's
So
like
it'll
a
probably
Cedar
just be-
Springs lot. It's like
Okay,
you own
so
timber that you're not going to do much
which
with.
with it and stuff. So that's why I
Yeah.
just wondered if,
Yeah,
you know.
it
Yeah,
drops down precipitously.
yeah. And on the right as you get into the Fjord subdivision, there's a detention pond, so that drainage course comes all
Goes
the way
down
down
there.
and makes it down into that pond.
Thank you. You guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have anything from the cemetery board point of view, or?
Not really. But no, this parcel of land that is south of if you've been out there, there's a fenced cemetery, and then there's roughly a half acre to the south. It's got many very mature trees. I mean, it would be a perfect place for a park. I did talk to Mayor Hoffman informally about the city's interest in perhaps developing this as a park. I mean, we're willing to maintain it, but if the city has interest in joining with us to make this a real asset to the public, we would be open to a proposal. If not, like I say, we have the budget to maintain it. We wouldn't develop it as a park necessarily, but it would be a very appropriate place to have a natural park, I guess, and in conjunction with the cemetery. So just in future, if somebody really has interest in it, we would be open to discuss that.
Thank you very much.
Before the council takes action, I would note that since since staff is recommending a variation from our code, and the variation will require that the council have findings that the proposed subdivision plat satisfies the requirements for variation. So we would have a motion could be a motion that this council finds that the proposed preliminary plat satisfies the requirements for variation and for approval of said plat. You could do it all in one. You could break it into two. I could make it three somehow, I suppose. But that I would encourage the council to specify that findings are being made that the proposed plat satisfies those criteria in the code. This is an unusual thing. We don't do this very often, but we don't have an awful lot of hills and valleys in North Liberty either.
Sure.
So if it said a resolution approving the preliminary plat, including the specified findings,
Perfectly fine.
that would be fine.
That would be perfectly fine, yes, sir.
So I would like to make a motion for
You could
that.
even say so moved at this point.
Oh, so moved.
I second.
There you go.
Moved and seconded. Any further questions? Could we have a roll call, Mary?
Mason,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 11. A second consideration of ordinance number 2023-4 and ordinance amending the chapters 55, 56, and 57 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of North Liberty, Iowa concerning procedures for impoundment and redemption of impounded animals, compliance requirements for dangerous dogs, and licensure of service animals. Any questions? Have a motion for that?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Harrington.
Aye.
Gleason.
Aye.
Brumbaugh.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to old business. Any old business? Any new business? Would I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.